The Yoruba Civil War were fought around 1989 to 1980. It is also known as the Yoruba Revolutionary War. These wars were a series of riots and conflicts that were common in Yoruba-speaking areas in both Nigeria and other West African regions between the late 18th century and the early 19th century. Many people believe that these wars came as a result of the disintegration of the old Oyo Empire. In 1789, the then Alaafin of Oyo, Alaafin Abiodun, died. Soon after his death, there were a series of unending quarrels between the provincial chief on the different issues. Most of these quarrels were on minor issues, but because most of the province chiefs were driven by greed, they became a full-blown conflict. One of the first disagreements can be traced to the quarrels between two royal houses. Yamba, who was based in capital of Oyo-Ile, and Ladering, based in Ilorin. The existing conflict were worsened by the Muslim slave rebellion, led by the Fulani Muslim cleric, Shehu Almi, who was sponsored by the Are Ono Kakafo. By the middle of 1930, the whole of Yoruba land was greatly troubled by the different wars. With the unrest in the Oyo Empire, new centers of power began to emerge in Ibadan. Owo and Warri had started to contest for control of the major trade routes and were looking for the ways to have access to the fresh supplies of slaves. Wars and slave raiding became the order of the day. It was during this time that some of the emerging Yoruba states started as war camps. Ibadan played major roles in the Yoruba Civil War. The Ibadan war boys raided constantly for slaves and delayed the Fulani penetration. As Ibadan continued to grow, the fear that it may dominate the Yoruba land brought about more wars and alliances, such as the Egba city of Abeokuta. Between 1816 to 1823, there was the Owu War. It involved Owu, Ife, and Ijebu. Owu attacked a town called Apomu, one of Ife's towns, in 1811 on the instruction of Oyo, whose citizens were kidnapped by Ife. Owu attacked Apomu for economic reasons. In 1916, Ife and Ijebu fought Owu until she eventually fell in 1823. From 1860 to 1865, there were the Ijebu War. Alaafin Atiba nominated his son, Adelu, as his successor. Kurumi of Ijaye did not accept and plan for a war. Ijaye attacked Ibadan in 1860 with a joint force from other Yoruba states like Abeokuta, Ijebu, etc. Ibadan was able to conquer Ijaye with the help of Remo and the British in 1860. Ijaye alliance, Abeokuta and Egba attacked Ijebu Remo and the British, but they were also defeated. By 1877 to 1893 was the Akiti War. It involved Ekiti, Ijesha, and Ife, who formed an alliance called Akiti against Ibadan. War broke out in 1877 when Ibadan tried to break Ijebu and Egba control over the trade route. A peace treaty was signed initiated by the British in 1886, which recognized the independence of Ekiti Parapor Alliance. War broke out again in 1890, but was brought to an end by the British military intervention in 1992 to 1993. It was all these quarrels that were weakened the central authority of the Oyo Empire and gave rise to the regional autonomy. It was these wars that led the creation of new states like Ibadan, Abeokuta, and Ijaye, and also saw the rise and fall of some of the most influential figures in Yoruba history. It caused the weakness of the Oyo sovereignty over the area, which eventually led to the British annexation in the late 19th century, pretending to want to end the slave trade. Wow, we have had so much to learn. In our next class, we will be talking about European explorer.